Hey guys, I'm Andrew Townsend.
And I'm Andrew Vass, and we're with eLearning Brothers. This video is a recording of our webinar, Working with Themes in Storyline 3, Everything You Need to Know.
If you enjoy the kind of content that we're creating here on YouTube, please subscribe, like the video, or leave us a comment. And if you haven't already, check out our new free trial at eLearningBrothers.com. Thanks so much and enjoy the presentation. Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar. My name is Andrew Townsend, I'm with eLearning Brothers. Today we're going to be talking about working with themes in Storyline 3 and giving you an understanding of everything you need to know. This webinar will be recorded. We'll get a copy of it posted on our blog later in the week, and we'll also be sending a copy of this out to everyone who's in attendance. If you have questions during the webinar, we'll be ready to answer your questions in that questions panel. It looks like some of you have already found it. So please do participate that way by using that questions panel. Just so you know, one of the things that we like to do after the webinar is try to follow up as soon as possible. Sometimes it's just to get feedback. Most of the time we would like to touch base and find out if anybody needs some one-on-one clarification about our topics after the fact. All right, so to talk to us about Storyline 3, we have Andrew Vass, one of our Storyline experts, with us today. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to hear what you have to share. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass the screen over to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about themes and players in Storyline 3.
We see your screen. Thank you.
Awesome.
The first part of themes I'm going to talk about is the colors. And the theme colors determine the default choices for text, shapes, captions, outlines, backgrounds, and buttons. And everyone's familiar with this color palette. You use this all the time while you're creating in Storyline. And those top colors that you see when you go to change a color of anything are the theme colors. So we'll talk about those and how to edit those. We'll also talk about the theme fonts. And these control, obviously, the headings, the body text, the questions, and answer choices. And that's basically just saying any text in your course is going to be adjusted with the theme font, and I'll show you how to do that and apply that to your entire course or just specific slides in your course. And then a theme also consists of slide masters, which control the default colors, fonts and text, and objects for slides throughout your course. So we'll talk about how to edit those, how you can use multiple master slides in one theme file, and how you can add and remove master slide and master slide elements. We'll talk about the difference between feedback masters and master slides. They're very similar, but the uses are a little different, and again, talk about how to edit those. And we'll also talk about the player, what elements are part of the player, and what is saved with the player when you save a player file. It's completely separate from a theme, but a lot of people do like to have, a lot of developers like to edit the player features and the theme features as well. So I'm just going to roll that into our discussion with themes today. So getting started, I'll open Storyline. And this is a Storyline layout from the eLearning Brothers library that I downloaded. It's called Cobalt. And I made some changes and some adjustments and created a new eLearning Brothers theme specifically for our chat today. So let's talk about how to first edit the colors. So if I come up here now, and all theme, first getting started, all theme elements are edited in this design window. This design tab is really only used when editing theme elements. Developers use these other tabs quite a lot, but there's not much done here. I'm going to show you exactly what can be done here. So first we have themes. Now Storyline comes with several pre-built theme files right here, and these all have certain master slides and colors and fonts associated with them. And if I were to apply this theme to my current course, I can see that everything is going to change. So let me go back to my current theme. And getting started, first I want to talk about the colors. So I come up here to the theme colors. I'm shown again all the pre-built theme color palettes that are associated with those pre-built themes, and as well as custom themes that I create or themes that this project is using. So currently you can see I'm using an eLearning Brothers theme colors. And if I wanted to edit any of these, I can come here and select create new theme colors. What that's going to do is it's going to pop up a window with all of my current theme colors and allow me to edit those and change those. Now let's talk about exactly what each of these theme colors correspond to, because it can get a little confusing. So the text and background colors, text and background dark 1 is going to be the default color, the default text color for light slide backgrounds and shapes. So anytime I have a slide that has a light background, if I apply a shape or a text box or a text to that background, it's going to inherit this color right here. And the same goes for these. Light 1 is the default text color for dark slide backgrounds and shapes, and all of these are also background styles that you can use to apply to certain slides in your theme, and I'll talk about that as well. And once we get down to the accent 1 is going to be the default fill color for any shapes or captions or radio button styles or checkbox styles. So if I'm applying those to custom slides and I'm inserting a text box or shape, it's going to take this first accent color here. And then accents 2 through 6 are just colors that are available to you to apply to any elements in your course. When you save a theme file, these are not going to change anything that's currently in the course, but they're going to be there for you to use. Maybe you have a green and a red color that you want to use for some correct or incorrect feedback. That's where you put this. The hyperlink color is pretty self-explanatory. If you ever have any text hyperlinks in your course, it's automatically going to inherit this color right here. And then the control 1 color is the color for any hover states. So if you're adding any built-in storyline buttons, the hover states are going to be the control 1, as well as the answer choices for any quiz questions. So if you insert a quiz question in storyline, it automatically has a hover state. It's going to get that from the control 1 right here. And then again, custom 1 and custom 2 are going to, so custom 1 is going to be the default fill color for buttons on custom slides. And then custom 2 is going to be the default fill color for, it's going to be the hover color for drag items, drop down questions, and Likert scale questions. So these last two would mostly only apply to quiz questions, but those options are there for you if you want to edit those.
So quick question that has come up here, Andrew.
Yes.
So you just gave us tons of useful information.
Wow.
Is there a cheat sheet anywhere we can look up? Is there a way, like if you hover over something, does it give you more detail about when something is used?
So just directly within Storyline, they don't break that down for you, but Articulate in the eLearning Heroes forums, they do have a list of everything I just mentioned. So you can get that from there. Unfortunately,
maybe we'll type something up and get that posted in the recap. That might be something useful. Little cheat sheet for you guys. Thanks.
We can absolutely send the link out. So let's see some of these in action. So right now my main color is ELB orange. If I wanted to change this text background dark 1 to something, we'll just choose a green right off the bat so we can see how it works. And I click save. Then that's going to change some of the backgrounds. So a dark background, if I had any slides that were dark, it's going to change that to that green. And also any text, the dark text on light backgrounds, it's also going to change that. And those backgrounds are found right here. So for each theme, you have 4 different background styles that were also set in those first 3 colors. And depending on which of these you apply to a certain slide, that is going to decide what color the text changes when you apply a new theme. So for example, because I have a light background on this slide and I change that text to green, that first color to green, then it changed it to green because it was a dark text on a white background, the heading text. And that's really about, when it comes to colors, that's really all you need to know. There are also, as far as applying colors, color palettes to certain slides and master slides in your theme file, you have a few options here. So if I right click this custom color palette, theme color that I just created, I have the option to apply to matching slides. What that's going to do, and I'll get into this a little bit more when I talk about master slides, but it's going to apply that to every slide that shares the master slide, that shares a master slide with the current slide that you are on. Applying to all slides is going to apply this color palette to every single slide in your course. And then applying the only to this slide, obviously, is just going to apply it to the slide that you have selected right now. And I can also delete any custom theme colors as well.
All right, a couple quick questions that have popped up here. Is there a way, if I have several, color files, a branded color file, can I import that, or do I need to do it all manually?
Import like a swatch, that all has to be done manually directly within here. So there's no way to import a color swatch.
Okay, and if I make a color swatch here, if I make a theme of colors here, can I export that and send it to a friend that's also using Storyline 3?
Not just specifically, so not the color file specifically, but you can export the theme file and then send that to someone who's using Storyline.
And that'll include the color.
That includes the color, the master slides, all of those I mentioned in that in the slide I was showing you. Colors, master slides, fonts, and feedback masters are all wrapped up in there. Yeah, and after we go through all the elements of themes, I'll show you how to save those, how to export those, and share them and apply them to other projects as well. I'm going to go back and change this to the my original color palette, and we're going to move on to fonts. Fonts are pretty straightforward. They're not as complicated as colors are. When it comes to theme fonts in Storyline 3, you have two options. There's a heading font and a body font, and you can set that to be whatever you want. And how that works is when you set a theme font, it comes into your font dropdown and it pops up here at the very top under theme fonts. And in parentheses, you'll see headings and body as well. Now when applying, so for example, if I wanted to go back to my fonts and change it to any one of the built-in fonts, you can see that it's going to change the fonts based on what I have set as my title and my body text. So I can apply that, and that's going to change everything, every text box that I have in all my master slides and also in my actual project as well to what that theme file is. But this is where a lot of people get tripped up when using themes. Is a lot of developers will, if they want to change the theme, change any of the fonts in the course, they'll come down here and they'll choose from the hundreds of fonts that they have on their system. But what that does is that breaks it breaks it from the theme file. So now if I wanted to come back up here and change this back to my eLearning Brothers text, it changed everything else except that one that I had changed to a custom font. So when working with themes, one good thing to remember is that applying theme fonts is only going to apply to fonts that are set as a heading or as a body. Otherwise, you would have to go through and manually update any text that you've changed to be anything other than those two fonts. And unfortunately, you only have two theme font options, a heading and a body text in Storyline. And as far as applying those to your theme file, you also have some different options there. You can apply to matching slides. Again, that would apply these theme colors to every slide that's associated with the same master slide. And you can have multiple master slides in a theme file. I'll get to that in a second. Or you can apply it to all the slides in your course. This fonts, they're different from colors, is that you can't just apply theme fonts to one slide. It has to be either the entire course or to all slides underneath a master slide. Do you have any questions for that, Andrew? Nope, we good?
Yeah, I mean, all the questions that are coming in, and you guys, if you guys have more questions, by all means, send them over to me. One person wants to know, can you set a font for the Notes tab?
A default font for the notes? Yes, that'll be done in the player. And I'll show that in a little bit once we're done talking about themes, but that can be done.
All right, great.
All right, cool. Moving along quickly. Next, we will talk about slide masters. Now, everyone's familiar with master slides. They're an excellent way to be able to keep your design elements consistent throughout your entire course. And slide masters are part of a theme in Storyline. So I can view the slide master by coming up to view and coming here to the slide master. And once I'm here, I can see all of my, so there's only really one. So currently I only have one slide master right here. This top one is considered the slide master. Everything below that is considered a layout. And again, I can have multiple slide masters in one theme file. So if I wanted to insert a new slide master here, what that's going to do is that's just going to associate it with the default blank Storyline theme. And then I can come up here and I can choose a different design theme for that specific slide master. And now I have two design themes in my course, and once I save my theme file, both of these designs are going to be associated with that. And you can have as many slide masters in your course as you want, and as many layouts underneath those slide masters as you want. And you have full control over what you do with these slide masters. I can add or remove any of these that I would like. I can change the title. Those titles will also be associated with the theme file once I save it, so those will come through. And if I wanted to insert a new layout, I can come in here. That's just going to put a blank slide with nothing on it into my master slide, and then I can come insert some placeholders. So I can add a content placeholder there. Then once that's in my course, I would just have to click that, and then I can add immediately import video or any multimedia I would like. I can add a text placeholder right there, and if I come up here, I can see that that's associated with the body font of my the body theme font that I chose. So if I ever change the theme font, that's also going to update this text right here.
Can you run through that process one more time? That was really fast.
Yeah, sorry about that. So if I wanted to, I'll just delete this slide. If I wanted to add a new layout to my my theme file, in every theme file, depending on if you get it directly from Storyline or if you get it from eLearning Brothers or you're getting it from Articulate, they're all going to have different master slides, different iterations of content slides in there. And you can add as many as you would like. I would just come up here to insert layout, and then that's going to insert just a blank slide. And then I can come up here and add a content placeholder. There's several placeholder options I can add. So I'll just add first a content and a text placeholder. And then if I come up here, it's the color's not showing up because I have orange set as my default font color. And I can again change that to white and change the size of that. And then if I exit the slide master, I now have the option to import that layout into my course, and that's going to come with the text placeholder and the content placeholder as well. And you can see here, I can just click to, oh, that opened up here. If I wanted to insert a character, I would just click it there, and it would open up the default Storyline characters. I can insert a picture from any file on my computer. And that's just one of the options for slide masters. All of those can be found right here. Videos, web objects, characters, pictures, text, and content. And then also those theme fonts, colors, and design themes are also available to me directly within the slide master editor if I wanted access to those.
So another quick question that's kind of come up: why import and not just add a slide and then apply the layout?
Why import a? I'm confused by the question. Import a theme file. Is that what that was? It's really, I mean, that's based on your preference. The benefit of importing a theme file is that it's all going to be designed for you. The fonts and the colors and the master slides all have been designed cohesively. But you could just open up a blank storyline file or an existing theme file and come in and manually add any slides that you would like.
Another question is, can you explain why pasting slides in from another project may or may not result in desired impacts to masters? For example, it brings in, sometimes dupes the redundant masters or creates redundant masters.
That's a good question. So if you have, when copying a slide from a different project, so if I were to copy a slide from another project into this one, that's going to bring in not only the layout that's associated with that slide, but also the master that's associated with that slide. So you're going to get a lot of maybe unwanted layouts that you don't want, because it's going to bring all of those in there. Even if they are the same theme, technically, it's still going to duplicate those. It's going to duplicate those in Storyline. So the best solution for that is when you do have to copy a slide from one Storyline project to another. First, copy the master slides so you can get rid of any master slides you don't want, and then copy the slide from your actual project. That's what I found is the easiest. Or you can just copy the slide from your project and then delete the unwanted master slides that you don't need. Cool. All right. And as far as master slides go, that's about it. They're pretty self-explanatory. They're pretty similar across a lot of authoring tools, whether you've been using PowerPoint or using something else. The slide masters are going to function very similarly there. And the last element of a theme that we're going to talk about is feedback masters. Now, feedback masters are very similar to slide masters, but they only apply to layers. So, for example, on this interaction slide right here that's talking about my theme elements, every one of these buttons is showing a different slide layer. And the layout of these is coming from a feedback master. So if I come up to apply layout, I have a layer selected right here. I come up to apply layout. It's showing some different masters than it would be if I had the main slide selected, because layers can only be associated with feedback masters. And as far as editing those go, it's the exact same process as editing a master slide would be. I can add some placeholders if I want. I can add as many feedback masters as I want. I can have one for incorrect feedback, one for correct feedback. And again, and this kind of goes back to the previous question, these feedback masters are left over from when I copied a slide in earlier. And also when I applied that new, when I was showing you the slide masters and I applied I inserted a new master and I applied a new design, it brought in some new feedback masters for that specific design. And again, once you hover over these, it'll show you. You can see that this says it's used by no slides, so I can just come in and remove that. This one's also used by no slides, so I can remove that and clean that up a little bit and just have the slides that I'm going to be using.
All right, well, there's several questions here, quite a bit of confusion here.
Okay.
What is the difference between creating a custom slide within the theme file or on the fly?
A custom slide within the theme file is going to be, well, if it's a master slide, it doesn't really matter. The thing about creating a slide within the theme file is that once you save the theme, that's now going to be that master slide is going to be associated with the theme file. So whenever you apply that theme to a new project, that project is going to have that master slide as well. But you might be talking about just creating a custom slide just right here and not using the master slide. If that's the case, then any of the objects that you have directly within the project or the story view those will not be associated with any theme because they're not on any master slides. So it's kind of two different ways to create a slide. You can just insert a blank slide or any slide from your master slides into your story view, and then add all the text and all the images you want directly within here. But the only downside to that is when you save the theme file, none of that will be associated with it. Are there other questions?
Yes, another question here is, after you add a new one and put in the placeholders, why do you have to import? Wouldn't it already be in there?
Import, I'm not sure.
Or if you add a new slide, I think, let's see, after you add a new one and put in the placeholders, why do you have to import? Wouldn't it already be in there?
So that when you add a new slide in the master slide view, that's going to be in the master slide view, but if I wanted to get this into my actual project, I would have to come in here and insert a new slide from that layout right there. So when I create a master slide, it's not going to put it on my project. It's going to put it in my master slides, and then I have access to that when I'm creating my project. So I can apply that new design to any existing slides, or I can create a new slide from that new master slide, or that new layout, excuse me.
All right, looking over these questions again. Layers can only be associated with feedback masters. Did I hear that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. When using these master slides, how can I find out which slides are using the different slide masters in my project? I ask because when importing other slides into my project, the other masters get imported as well.
That's an excellent question, and that's super easy. All you have to do is select the slide, come up here, apply layout, and that'll show the master slide it's using will be highlighted in blue. So you can see that right there.
Excellent. What is the easiest way to take a course created with one theme and change it to a new theme?
Well, there's really only one way. You'd have to, if it's a story, if it's a built-in storyline theme. So any of these that I talked about, all you have to do is click that, and then that's going to apply that to all slides in your course. But again, one thing you want to make sure, and what trips up a lot of people, is making sure that if you want your fonts to change, that the fonts are associated with a body and with a header, or else they will not inherit that new theme. Or if you have a custom theme that someone else has created, all you'd have to do is click this. So if I click this drop down right here in the themes tab, that'll expand this, and I can save this current theme, or I can browse for themes. And then I'll just open up my computer. If I have a theme file, storyline theme files have their own extension. It's .athm or athmx. If you have an athmx file, you can browse for that and upload that here, and then apply that to your whole project. That's it as far as questions? Excellent. All right, and that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about next. We've talked about all the elements that are associated with a theme file in Storyline, and now I was going to talk about saving that. So again, once I've selected all my colors, once I've edited all my fonts and chosen my master slides and my feedback slides, I want to make sure I save that current theme. And what that's going to do is allow me to, it's going to pop up my computer and allow me to rename that. I'll just call this custom. And you can see right here that eLearning Brothers theme that I created, which is the one you're seeing now, I've already saved, and that's going to reside on my computer in this Storyline Themes folder, which is created when you install the Storyline software. And click Save. And then now that custom theme is going to pop up in this Themes ribbon right here, and that's going to be associated with my Storyline install, not with my project. So any project that I open up in this Storyline license is going to have this custom theme available for people to use. And if I wanted to share that with someone, all I'd have to do is find that file, that ATHMX file on my computer, and send it to someone. And all they would do is come up here, select Browse for Themes, find that file, and import it. And again, it'll pop up right in there. And as far as themes go, that's really it. They're super easy to use. They make, if you have everything associated properly, they really make applying global edits to your course very, very easy. I know when I first started development, I was really only focused on master slides, and I didn't utilize the fonts and the colors very often. But ever since I learned that those are all part of a theme, it just makes it so much easier. If you're are creating, for us, we're creating templates, and we like to apply themes to our different template files to change the look and feel very quickly. For our custom team, if we have other courses that we've used previously that we're going to use as a shell, we'll just have our designers just create a new storyline theme, and then we'll apply that, and it's pretty much a new course. There's a lot of possibilities there. I did also want to talk about the player. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with the storyline player. I can open that up right here to edit. And the player properties, like I said earlier, are different from this is completely different from a theme file. So if I create a new theme and I save that new theme file, this player will not be associated with that. So if I wanted to save the player separately, I would have to open up this player editor and make any changes that I want. I can add certain buttons in there, change the title, change where I'd like the sidebar to be on the left or on the right. I can choose what controls I want to have in there, and I can add a logo. Everything here, when I save a player file, will be associated with that player file. So all of these settings will come through if I'm applying this player to a specific project, or if I'm sharing it with someone else in my organization. So all the features will be associated with the player. However, the menu, the resources, and the glossary, those are not associated with the player. So if I was going to add any glossary terms in here, or if I wanted to add any specific resources, those are only associated with my project. And when I save the player, those are not going to come through. The colors will also be saved with the player. And these are, so color, when editing a player, you edit what's called a color scheme. So you can see right here that I saved a color scheme called eLearning Brothers. If I click the drop down, I have several built-in storyline color schemes right here. And again, I also have my custom eLearning Brothers color scheme. And this controls all the colors in the player. So if I selected advanced color editing, come up here, I can select all of these different items in the player and modify those. So maybe I wanted to change the color of a button. I would come in here. Again, I have access to my theme colors. Change that. Maybe I want to change that to orange, and I'll see that pop up automatically right here. And I won't get into all of these, but you really do have access to change really anything you would need to in the player. And I can also set a player font as well. So I have this set to my default theme fonts. The theme fonts don't show up here, but I still have access to those in the font drop down. So I just selected those. I can change the size as well. And once I'm ready to save this player, once I've edited all the colors, once I've added all the buttons that I want, I can come up here to this current player drop down and click save. And what that did was that overwrote the existing player that I was using, so this eLearning Brothers player. So now that whenever I want to apply this player to a specific project I'm working on, it's going to inherit those edits I just made. I can also save as a new player if I wanted to save a copy and not overwrite my existing player. Takes a second, but once I do that and I come over to open, now I have that copy of eLearning Brothers here. In Cobalt, I mentioned before that I I started from the Cobalt eLearning Brothers layout. That's why this is here, is because it had its own custom player associated with it. I can also import players that other people have created or export this player to share with other people. Simply right here, if I wanted to export this, it would save it as an XML file, and then whomever wanted to import that player would open this player window in their storyline, select import, find that player, and then it would populate right here, and then they would have that to use in all of their storyline projects.
Hey, so is there a way to hide the player functionality altogether?
You'd have to, there's no way to completely hide all functionality. You'd have to do that manually, but that is possible. So I can come in here and I can deselect all those buttons right there. And then if I wanted to remove the next and back buttons, I would have to do that here on each individual slide. And I can select all of these, all sides of my course, just with a shift and click, and add or remove all of those right there. So the next and back buttons and the submit button, which comes with the default storyline quiz slides or interaction slides, those are not associated with the player. Those are on a slide-by-slide basis, but you do have control over everything. Any other questions?
There aren't any other questions about the player here. There are several questions that have come together about fonts and moving in and out of Storyline. So are you able to embed fonts in Storyline, and how do you know that the fonts are packaged with your published Storyline file? Along that same vein, if a theme has a font that you don't have installed on your computer, does importing or applying that theme provide you the new font, or will it just use another font that's similar? So, you know, what is packaged as you're moving these around?
That's a very good question. So Storyline does automatically embed fonts for you if the fonts that you're using on your slides, and once you publish that, those will be embedded directly within the course, so they'll show up properly on other computers. As far as themes go, that is a good question. I didn't mention that. Those fonts would have to be installed on the user's system in order to use those. Installing the Storyline theme will not automatically install Storyline fonts. They'll just default to the system font.
Another question, the themes, when you're saving them, they're saving on your computer's C drive. Is that where they're going, or can they be stored on a network drive? Can you move those around?
Yep, they can be stored wherever you have complete control. So once I come up here and save current theme, when I installed Storyline, it created a theme folder for me within the Storyline install, but I can select anywhere. If I wanted to save that in my documents folder, I can just select that and I have access to that as well. So they can be saved anywhere.
And is it possible to remove a theme so it doesn't show on your design tab any longer?
You can remove custom themes. So if, for example, this custom theme I created, I can delete that one, but I cannot delete any of the built-in Storyline themes. There's no way to remove those from the design ribbon.
All right, and can you save a theme to your team slides, or do you have to save it as a project?
A theme has to be, if you're sharing it with anyone else who is using a different Storyline install, it does have to be saved as a separate theme, as a separate theme file. But also, if a theme is also associated with a project, so for example, I have my eLearning Brothers theme associated with this project. If I save the project and then share that project with someone else, when they open this project, they will also have that theme as well.
Does Storyline let you know if you don't have the fonts within a theme on your PC?
They should, yes. Yep, Storyline is really good about notifying for missing fonts, and then it'll just substitute those.
Excellent.
Cool. Well, if there's no other questions, that was it as far as how to use the Storyline player and how to use Storyline themes.
All right, great. So I'm going to go ahead and take the screen back, if that's all right, Andrew. Let me click it over here. Now, you had mentioned earlier that we have a lot of these things in our library, a lot of different themes or different templates. And we're also launching a new library refresh. You want to talk a little bit about what is in that new library, what we've added, and what you'll find in those libraries?
So in that new library refresh, what we've added is we've added some new, we don't have any specific theme files in our library, but we do have several new interactions, layouts, and quiz files that we package into something called course starters. And those do come with specific themes that we've designed as well. And so once you download one of those and you want a specific theme file, you can download any of our templates that we have on the library, and you will have access to those theme files as well for you to use in any other courses you might have, or any other slides as well.
Excellent. And you guys can try those out. We have a new free trial. You can get any template from our library by grabbing a free trial. So you can register for that at eLearningBrothers.com as well, or just give us a call and we're happy to show you what we have, and we can arrange to have those free templates passed over to you at the number on the screen. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Andrew, for this awesome tutorial. We will get this posted out shortly, and we'll get a copy of it sent out to everybody as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this recording of Working with Themes in Storyline 3, Everything You Need to Know. Subscribe to our channel to get more awesome presentations, ideas, and e-learning videos that can help you become an e-learning rockstar.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave your comments below. And if you haven't already, check out our new free trial and choose any 10 assets from our massive library to download today. Thanks!